All right. Hey, onearvo, good to see you. Hey, Tim, how are you, bud?
Yeah, good. How are you, Vish?
I'm doing well. Hey, we can get straight into it with a random hat generator. This is always a good favourite of mine and Tim's, and I hope it is for you too, kids, so make sure you answer as well. Tim, tell me a colour that you're feeling. Blue, pink, or...
Orange.
Orange today. Righty. What do we got? Okay. Oh, this is an interesting one. Tim, what's the weirdest thing in your home or in someone else's home? What's the weirdest thing in your home or in someone else's home?
That's tricky. The thing that comes to mind straight away is I one time visited a friend and her dad built their house, and instead of having like framing like a normal house had, it had tree trunks was what it was sort of built around. But one of the ones in the middle of the house was an old telegraph pole.
What?
like what phone line gets attached to.
Okay, weird. Right. Okay, that's pretty weird.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure it was up to code.
Yeah, I didn't know how to answer this, but the first picture that came into my head was that we've got a bunch of garden gnomes out the front of our house, which our girls call all weird names. But it was just yesterday or the day before that I noticed we have a meerkat garden gnome, which is just odd. It just doesn't fit in my head. But anyway, I don't know what his name is, but that's that. Okay, my turn to ask a question. Let's say, oh, it's a blue one. I don't know if we might have answered this one. We've asked a lot of questions, but here it is. What's the most ridiculous fact that you know? And I feel like this is playing straight to Tim's strengths because he's a bit of a brain.
I did answer this question, so I think that you should answer it this time.
Oh, gee whiz. Okay. Okay, so the most ridiculous fact that I know is, I think everyone kind of knows this, but it was last week, actually, that Matteo was telling me a fact. We were scootering up in the cul-de-sac up the top of our street, and Matteo said, hey, you know those stars in the sky? Because it was about 5:30. Do you know stars in the sky, Daddy? I'm like, yeah. He goes, those are all big suns, but really, really far away. I'm like, how'd you know that? Now, I wasn't too sure if I told her that or if she stumbled across it in her adventures. But that was kind of cool, that all the stars in the sky are actually big fireballs that are really far away. And actually, many of them are actually bigger and hotter than our actual sun. So that's cool. And the other fun fact is, I think most seeds in plants or in fruit can be replanted to actually make more, which is kind of cool. So some of those you probably already know, but I find them pretty cool. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Nice. Hey, what are we doing today, Tim? What are we actually going to be thinking about?
So today we're going to be thinking about when you feel sick. So I can see you've got lots of feelings on the background behind you there. But what are the things that you like to do when you're feeling sick, or you like other people to do maybe?
Ooh, that's a good question. So sometimes I get a little bit grumpy, if you can see the big red face. There's sometimes I might even get a bit, where is it? Up that end. Just above me to my right, I might get a bit sick and a bit crumpled in my face. And there's other times that I like to get under the blankets and keep really, really warm. And I'm a little bit naughty when I get a bit sick because I just want sweets and treats.
Fair enough, Vish. Fair enough. Sometimes all I want is someone to look after me when I feel sick. And today we're going to see a man named Naaman in the Bible, and he has a problem with sickness. And in James 4 verse 8, he says, come near to God and he will come near to you. And sometimes that's all you need, isn't it? When you're not well, is you just need someone to come near. And we're going to see that in our story today. But first, we're going to play a game.
Woohoo!
Hi, onearvo. I hope you haven't forgotten me. My name's Tim, and it's good to be back with you guys again this week. And it's time for our game. And thinking about remembering and memory, I've got a memory game for us. So what's going to happen in a second is a picture is going to pop up on the screen in front of you. and I want you, in the 10 seconds that it's on the screen, to try and remember 10 things about that picture. So, all right, get your memories ready, maybe warm them up. All right, I think we're ready. So 3, 2, 1. Wow, that was tricky, wasn't it? I think I only have about 3 things that I can think of from that. Do we need a bit more time? Yeah, I think we need a bit more time. How about another 10 seconds? Wow, well, this is really, really tricky. And I think that you might be able to work out a little bit later on why we played a memory game at the start. So keep an eye out for the talk.
Give thanks, God is good. All that He made is good. Raise up your voice and sing, 'cause God is good to me. Our God is rich in love. He won't fail, He won't give up. Raise up your voice and sing, 'cause God is good to me. God is good, and He'll never stop loving me. So good, so good. God is good. No, He'll never stop loving me. God is good, and He'll never stop loving me. So good, so good. God is good. No, He'll never stop loving me. Give thanks, God is good. All that He made is good. Raise up your voice and sing, 'cause God is good to me. Our God is rich in love. He won't fail, He won't give up. Raise up your voice and sing, 'cause God is good to me. God is good, and He'll never stop loving me. So good, so good. God is good. No, He'll never stop loving me. God is good, and He'll never stop loving me. So good, so good. God is good. No, He'll never stop loving me. God is so good, you could say that He's good. His love never ends, and it's sweeter than sugar. Much more than I could imagine or see. God is so good, and He's so good to me. God is good, and He'll never stop loving me. God is good, no, He'll never stop loving me. God is good, and He'll never stop loving me. So good, so good. God is good, no, He'll never stop loving me. God is good, and He'll never stop loving me. So good, so good. God is good, no, He'll never stop loving me. God is good. God is so good, you could say that He's good. His love never ends, and it's sweeter than sugar. Much more than I could imagine or see. God is so good, and He's so good to me. God is good, and He'll never stop loving me. So good, so good. God is good, no, He'll never stop loving me. God is good.
Hey onearvo, it's Julie here, and today I'm going to read you the story of a little servant girl and the proud general. Naaman was a very important man in a very important army in a very important country. So you see, he was very, very, very important. But Naaman was sick. He had leprosy, which is a nasty thing that stops you feeling anything. Bits of you fall off without even noticing, like bashed fingers and squished toes. It might sound funny, but it wasn't, and Naaman certainly wasn't laughing. There was no cure. It never went away, and in the end it killed you. Naaman needed help. Now, there was a little slave girl who worked for Naaman, and she knew someone who could help him. But there was a problem. Naaman was her enemy. Not long before, Naaman had led an army raid on her home in Israel. He had killed her whole family, carried her off to Syria, and made her into his slave. Every night she cried herself to sleep. She had lost everything. Why would she, of all people, want to help Naaman? Didn't she hate him and want to hurt him back? Didn't she want to make him pay for the wrong he'd done? That's what you would expect. But instead of hating him, she loved him. Instead of hurting him, she forgave him. I want Naaman to get well, she said to her mistress. There's a man in Israel called Elisha who can heal him. I'll go, said Naaman, loading up his wagons and putting on his flashing armour. But I'll go to the palace, because that's where someone important like me gets healed. So he hurried off to Israel and went straight to the king. My healing, please, he announced. I can do lots of things, the king replied, but only God can heal. Just then a message from Elisha arrived. Send Naaman here, it read. So Naaman hurried off to Elisha's house. But Elisha didn't even come out and greet him. He just sent a servant instead. Doesn't Elisha realise who I am? Naaman thought. But what the servant said next made him even crosser. Wash in there, he said. Just wash? Naaman laughed. In that slimy, stinky river? He looked around to see if this was some kind of joke. It wasn't. Any person can wash in a river, he thought. I am Naaman. I am important. I should do something important so God will heal me. And he rode off in a rage. Of course, you and I both know that's not how God does things. All Naaman needed was nothing. It was the one thing Naaman didn't have. God knew that Naaman was even sicker on the inside than he was on the outside. Naaman was proud. He thought he didn't need God. His heart didn't work properly. It couldn't feel anything. You see, Naaman had leprosy of his heart. God was not only going to heal Naaman's skin, he was going to heal his pride. Naaman finally agreed to wash in the river, and instantly his skin became smooth like a baby. Naaman wanted to pay Elisha. God healed you. You can't pay, Elisha said. It's free. And so it was that a very sick man was healed, all because of a little servant girl who forgave him. God knew sin was like leprosy. It stopped his children's hearts from working properly, and in the end, it would kill them. Years later, God was going to send another servant to forgive as she did, to forgive all of God's children and heal the terrible sickness in their hearts. Their hearts were broken, but God can mend broken hearts. All right, time to put your thinking caps on and think about these questions.
Hey guys, welcome to our lockdown challenge for One Arvo Online. Sam Cruikshank is actually going to lead us in our lockdown challenge, which is going to be really cool. Now, remember, for every lockdown challenge, we want to invite someone else to do it with us so we can learn something really big. So the lockdown challenge is going to require you to find someone and get some things. Now, some of the things is going to be a wet towel and a little bit of flour. So you need to do this one outside. But as you do this trick that Sam is about to show us, you want to be able to do it with someone so you can be reminded and they can be reminded that Jesus has power to heal our sicknesses physically, but also he has power to heal our sick and sinful hearts, which is amazing. So as you get prepared, as you get your stuff together, get ready to be able to learn it and show it with someone else. All right, over to you, Sam.
Hi, onearvo, Sam here. I'm about to show you the leprosy trick, which is where you rub off leprosy, just like the river did to Naaman in the story we learnt about. Now, to do this trick, what you do is you get some flour and you just sprinkle it and rub it on your arm to make it look like leprosy. And then you miraculously, like the river, wipe it off. Thanks, onearvo. Bye.
Okay. Hey guys, so good that you got to hear that really cool story. And the best part is it's actually true. Now, I love today's lockdown challenge, Tim. It was a bit tricky with some flour and wet cloth trick. Be careful, but make sure you surprise and trick someone. And you might be able to retell them this wonderful story of Naaman, where he was sick and he drew near to God.
Yeah, it's great news for us, isn't it, Bish, that if we draw near to God, he is near to us. That's such a good thing to remember this week.
So good. Well, kids, so good to hang out with you. Hopefully we'll see you guys soon. Tim, thanks so much for joining us again, and we will see you guys back here next week. See ya.